But we're taking easy. I'm gonna immediately go in for the first question. So we're not having like a fancy introduction. It will be put in post-production. Could you please tell a few words about your professional background?
Yes, of course. So I've graduated a long time ago from Warsaw Fine Art Academy from the painting department. But also, a part of my diploma was a set of posters, because I've also participated in Mieczysław Wasilewski's classes of poster, and then I knew that this is something I really need to pursue more. So the background is painting based, let's say, but then I went more into illustration, poster making field, let's say this way. Then I was studying computer graphics and multimedia, and then I did my PhD at University of Jan Kochanowski in Kielce, also from painting department. Yeah, so
it sounds interesting. It sounds like a quite diverse artistic background.
Yes.
And with that, what subjects do you teach at the Academy?
Actually, I work at two different schools. So in this academy, I ran Course Zero. So let's say I teach those young people like basics of graphic design, something like this. And with the first year students, I co-run painting and drawing studio, which is called Visual Language, with Ania Eichler and Sabina Twardowska. And then with second year students, I work with you. I work in illustration studio as well with Ania Eichler. Yeah.
And how did you get in our academy?
Ania dragged me in. Yeah, she is my dear friend. And she was working here for quite some time, and then we also have been working together in this other Warsaw photography school. And she was like, hey, maybe you would like to join us here. There's a spot for you, maybe you are interested. And I was really interested in working here, so that's how I started.
Here we are right now. And you mentioned Course Zero. What is a Course Zero?
Oh my God, this is a fantastic situation here. I really appreciate working with those like after Course Zero students at first year. This is something that I think Marta Myszewska invented here. So this is like a preparation year for yet to be students in our academy, when we teach them. We ground them with some basics of drawing and painting and computer graphics, and we talk about composition, and we somehow, let's say, moderate them into being like much more comfortable in what this academy is about. So I really enjoy working with them because they are so fresh, so young, and they are so eager to ground here, and we set bases, let's say, for them. And really students, after the Course Zero situation, they are like, how to say it, they are like much more confident, I would say, and they know the environment a bit more, they know how to move along all of those stuff that we offer them here. So I really think that this whole idea is great, absolutely.
And we can say that these are the big benefits of joining Course Zero for students who want to later attend New Media Arts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you can get accepted without this situation, but it is beneficial. I'm working like, let's say this is the 9th year of me working as academic teacher, not in the school, of course, but in some other places. And I know how to work with students with like a zero preparation. It is tougher, and they are a bit for the first, let's say, semester, they are a bit lost. They are sometimes astonished that there are so many things that we would like them to understand, to do. So those students after Course Zero, they are like more prepared and more like, let's say, bold in different choices.
I can say by personal experience, it is quite tough on the first semester with the environment. And based on my personal experience, moving in the first year of my study on the illustration course, not illustration, but the painting course, it was a quite interesting experience overall, because we got to try more diverse and more unusual tasks than what you would expect from a typical painting class. And it was interesting for me to explore what I can do with traditional means of media and how I can incorporate it later into my regular workflows.
Yep, that's the case.
Yeah. And would you expand on the painting class?
Yeah.
What is it about in general?
Yeah, gladly. I love the idea that was brought by Anya and Sebastian before I joined them in this particular course. Because the main idea is not to follow like the academic path, let's say, that fine art could give you, because this is other schools. Some directions they are different. So we've assumed that it would be best for our students to be able to excel in understanding design, understand graphics, understand those things that they then further in their career they will be developing. So we are not focusing on just painting the model, creating still life and then making those studies about those stuff, but to somehow, make a twist, somehow allow them to feel comfortable then in making illustrations, in understanding contrast, color, movement, rhythm, whatever you need to then be, let's say, animator or illustrator or poster designer. So we have 10 or 8 tasks each week, different ones. And the focus is always on something else. So they need to, sometimes they think, okay, so I'm a lousy painter. I don't know how to paint. I am not, Leonardo da Vinci, and that's okay. Because who needs another Leonardo da Vinci? One is enough. But they have some unexpected set of tools, let's say, and they need to work only with those tools, and then they discover, oh my God, I know how to be innovative. I know how to do something. I know how to like break those boundaries, those barriers, and then to make something really interesting. Yeah. So sometimes when they are so focused on painting eyelashes and eyebrows and all of those stuff and blinks in eyeballs, we are like, okay, so now you have like a white brush, like this white, yeah. So and off you go, and they are like, how am I going to even work with this tool? And then, surprisingly for them, not for us, for them, they know how to work with it, and this is great because they are like, they allow themselves to open to some other perspective, to some other, thinking, creative thinking. I
totally understand that, and my best memory from those classes is the task when we were working with 2 different media where we brought pencils, lipsticks, markers, etc. It was a really great practice, and it was really interesting to see that we actually can do some fun things.
Yeah, I love this task so much. We've done it, I think, 3 weeks ago, maybe. And like majority of our students, at first they were like, oh my God, what they want from us. But then there are always some really, really interesting stuff at the end, and they are surprised. And I think that they grow with confidence after such tasks. So I really enjoy the program that we offer them.
I do feel similar about this course.
That's great.
And now moving to the next year, to the second year, to the illustration course. What is that course about for students of the second year?
Okay, so we've divided the illustration studio. It's obviously divided for 2 semesters, and the first one is oriented mainly on understanding editorial illustration, working with text, let's say creating once again a kind of like a ground basis for being able to create a whole book for children. Because of course there is like a lot of different areas in illustration. So we have comic books illustrations, we have illustration for adults, for children, obviously. A lot of it is dedicated for children. So we start with this. and we want our students to break free from thinking that illustration is like chasing reality. This is something that I always say to my students in any school I work or any workshops I run, that when you are an illustrator, you embrace who you are, what is your background, which emotions, and what is your story, what can you offer, what could be a benefit from you to the story you are illustrating. And then don't chase reality, because we have photography, we have all of those stuff, there's like a photorealism, there's a lot of those things, but then you can go crazy to be like too big, you can be quiet if you wish, but you need to let's say serve something unique, something that is your visual language. Mm-hmm. So whenever you try to create an alligator, so it doesn't have to be green, it can be purple, it has to be like 100% alligator, ish, something that we can take and feel, okay, so this is like a scary or a friendly alligator or whatever. So, I just wish for all our students at the beginning of their journey through illustration to embrace what they feel, what they wish, to add to the discourse. And the second semester is we will be switching those subjects, because now we are finishing something that was started 1 year ago. We are creating a book. What does graphic designer do? So this is a story, a book for children, explaining the world of creation in the area of graphic design. But you need to, once again, when you are a designer and you are designing something, poster, illustration, whatever, visual identity, you need to know your audience. So you need to know whom you are dedicated something to. And so you need to follow this particular path. So this is a book for children. So you need to respectfully, talk to them. So you need to say those things about the huge world of graphic design, but in the words and with the mode that will be suitable for them. So this is also like practicing of how to be accurate,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree, and wise words regarding the finding audience, understanding who you're making things for. We talked about the classes, the painting class, the illustration class, and I would say kind of both of them are connected to traditional media, with painting obviously, and with illustration, it's a book illustration. Mm-hmm. How do you see what do you see this importance for students of new media arts, which is heavily based on digital media, working and understanding traditional media more?
Okay, so I think this is absolutely crucial to be able to deliver the first idea, the first attempt of whatever you do, just like directly from your heart and mind into some traditional technique. It could be just a sketch, it could be a drawing, it could be, this kind of way of working. Because as much as I love working with Illustrator, InDesign, all of those computer programs, and I do always work with them initially, I think that it is also a kind of like a technology prosthetics, let's say, because the faster you get into this environment, the most close you could get, because there is a lot of those immediately made fantastic stuff, perfect circles, gradients, shadows, whatever, those blinks. And then I sometimes think it could be a noise, it could be something which covers your true authenticity. So I think that being able to understand manually things, to deliver the concept directly from your head to a piece of paper, and then to go to some new media, whatever computer programs, let's say, it is the best way of being able to deliver yourself and something which is really, and especially nowadays we have this artificial intelligence and whatever. So not to be someone who's not necessary anymore. You need to have something extra, and that extra factor is always you. Is always the human being.
I agree. Yeah. Learning to embrace and work on your personal things, your personal style and vision.
Because when you go today, there's like so much stuff in internet, which is why I love and I am afraid a bit of internet. So this is like the feeling is complicated. So when you go there, you see so many things, and a lot of them is generic, and that is how it is, of course, because there's like plenty of people making stuff, but there is this like a special unique factor that you can maybe just feel, or maybe just think that it is there when someone is creating, not just by working through some computer program, but also with having those like original concepts.
I agree with you. Yeah. I want to ask about new medias and uprising movements within our art world. How do you feel about such cultures as tattoo culture, graffiti culture, queer culture?
Yeah, a tattoo culture. Yeah, of course I have some. So I love it. I like it a lot. I know that this is that could be for some people something they are afraid of, or maybe they would not go there because it's permanent. So of course you can go with henna if you wish. That's okay. But for me, it is also a part of like showing who you are. So the first tattoo I've made, it is a name of my daughter with a lettering made by Strzemiński, and she was born in Łódź, and he is from Łódź. He's connected with this environment, so I thought, that is the way that I think is how I would like to present her name. And I always think that every other tattoo should be something, should represent some meaningful moment, or be something for me to remind me of something, whatever. So I am like thumbs up for this culture, of course. As for graffiti street art, I also have some experience in creating murals in public space. We've worked with Anya a few times, and I've designed some walls here in Warsaw, and then someone was painting them. So I love it, and I think, I think that if celebrating something, I would rather go with street art rather than another monument, because this is something that is also connected with this like bad history of, of forcing some general, political ideas into and every other, mind. So no, so this is not the way I would like to represent something. So I like when street is speaking to me. I love it. And I am not angry when some of my design is then, painted with something else, because this is how street is changing. So this is like the liquid reality, which I love. I
love this comparison.
Yeah, so this is great. And you've also asked me about the queer culture. We were talking about the subject before. Yeah. So I love it. And I think that this is so deeply connected with expressing yourself and speaking truth about yourself, and being like free from all of those other people's expectations, and to be loud about who you are, what you love, and how you wish to behave, and what you wish to represent. And there is like a lot of this culture is based on a lot of pain and like unpleasant situation. And then embracing our ability to be ourselves. So this is something that let's say RuPaul's Drag Race is what I really, really love. And I watch it with my 9-year-old daughter, and she loves this culture because it is so fun. It is so colorful and it's so beautiful and naughty and all of those stuff. So I love it.
Expressive.
Yeah.
Expressive. Lastly, I want to conclude by asking what, in general, you talked a lot about inspiration, but I just have to ask one more time, maybe going a bit deeper. What inspires you with your craft, your art, your everything?
So sometimes I think about myself as a painter / illustrator, then as an illustrator / painter. It depends on, let's say, the day of the week, maybe. But all of my works, from the painting department and illustration and poster and some political drawings, is inspired by what I see. Like a lot of things that I do is connected with some socially political things that happen in my country, but always also all over the world. I'm inspired by people, what they speak about, what they say one to another on a bus stop. So sometimes there's like, okay, so I need to remember it. That was so funny, or that was so creepy. I need to do something about it. So from TV, from politics, from some social movements, from the politics is basically for the last few years is the main inspiration for me. So there's like, I do a lot of stuff like concerning those subjects, but I hope that I present them not in a way that I would like to maybe preach, but rather to, blink an eye towards some, viewer. But those subjects, they are heavy, of course. Let's look around. So, but I try to somehow, maybe sarcastically put some thoughts in my paintings and drawings, because, you know what, it is also kind of like a therapy for me. Being able to paint a painting about those stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for this. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
See you on the classes, I guess.
Yeah, next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.